March is Women's History Month, and this year marks 40 years since Sandra Day O'Connor was sworn in as the first woman on the U.S. Supreme Court.
Fox News at Night anchor Shannon Bream takes a look at her life and legacy.
It's exciting to be the first to do something, but I did not want to be the last.
Sandra Day O'Connor did succeed. A history-making woman, a Westerner, pragmatic conservative, grandmother, and first woman on the nation's highest court. Ruth McGregor was Justice O'Connor's first law clerk, who herself later became Chief Justice on the Arizona Supreme Court. She says her one-time boss took her experience as a prosecutor, later a state senator, to forge a consensus-minded strategy to deciding tough cases.
It was a practical approach, but one that was really grounded in legal principles and respect for what the judiciary means to our form of American democratic government.
She called it sensible solutions to thorny political and social questions. Gun control, abortion access, civil and voting rights, executive power. That restrained, flexible approach was shaped by her upbringing in the high desert of Arizona, growing up on the vast Lazy Bee family ranch.
We were 35 miles from the nearest town.
As a girl, she could brand cattle, drive a tractor, and fire a rifle.
I loved living on that ranch, and I sort of grew up on the back of a horse.
After law school, no firm would hire her, so O'Connor rode her own trail, leading to her 1981 nomination by President Reagan.
She is truly a person for all seasons.
40 years ago, women were all but invisible on the front lines of American law. Just 5% of federal judges were female.
It's been something that opened so many doors for other women.
In a quarter century as a justice, O'Connor was a force off and on the bench, often the key swing vote that decided hot-button cases, her independent-minded, measured rulings winning the day. After leaving the High Court in 2006, she founded the Sandra Day O'Connor Institute for American Democracy to promote civics education and civic engagement. The group's director says her impact is still felt today.
She shattered the glass ceiling of the judicial branch, an equal branch of power. Think about how profound that is.
For a democracy such as ours to function, we have to have citizens that understand the process.
Justice O'Connor retired from private life or public life in 2018 when she publicly announced that she was in the early stages of dementia. Really, her advice was for women, go out there and be impressive. She said the more that you're out there doing the jobs and people see women rising to the occasion, the better it is for everyone. Sandra and John.
And a wonderful person to tell her story, Shannon Bream. A wonderful look back at her life. And while it is Women's Month, tell us about the Women of the Bible Speak. Shannon, this is your book that you've just written. Spectacular, by the way.
Thank you. And I was so encouraged and inspired by these women. Some of the stories you may know, Mary, the mother of Jesus. Others are a little bit more obscure. And so we wanted to include a good cross-section of women from all walks of life, some very humble, some very brave. Some of them got off track. And I always like to include them and say, listen, we're all flawed. God still worked through all of their stories. And he was faithful through the process. So I hope that people will be encouraged, because I think we all need a little bit of that now. It's out March 30th, and you can get it now at foxnews.com/books.
Fantastic. Great stuff, Shannon. It's wonderful that you're telling those stories. So many. Read the book. Shannon, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back after this. Good to see you, Shannon.